per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. Remember, 1-866-929-1950. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes for preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
Good Wednesday afternoon. We've got a long meeting today. We're all hungry. Let's just get through this.
As you can see on the pie chart, pie.
Focus, Mary.
From the earnings report, we had some wings in September. Wings. Let's order Buffalo Wild Wings. We could concentrate better with full stomachs.
That's a game winner, Mary. You've earned yourself a promotion.
Earn yourself a promotion at your next staff meeting with Buffalo Wild Wings Pensacola large order takeout. BuffaloWildWings.com.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns. And that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
All sports time. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 WYCT Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Happy Memorial Day and welcome into Talk Football with Coach K. If you want to be a part of today's show, you can call into our studio line, 972-1945. Again, it's 972-1945. I'm Jordan Glass. Joined alongside me, as always, Coach K. And Coach, some sad news to get to over the weekend as we lost one of the greatest to ever lace it up and play the game in Bart Starr, the well-known Green Bay Packer quarterback. And Coach, he is a guy that was a colossal star inside the NFL. Any sports fan, it didn't matter whether you were a major sports fan or just somebody who casually watched the game of football or just casually watched sports, you knew exactly who Bart Starr was, Coach. And it's just sad news we got over the weekend.
Yeah, and there's a great story involving Bart Starr. Not only was he a good football player, an outstanding football player, but he was a great man, really, really a wonderful person. I knew Bart Starr fairly well. In fact, he when I was an assistant at Buffalo, one year he offered me a made a very good offer. He offered me a job to go to Green Bay when he was the coach there. Even I first met him when we played against the Packers, and he was a quarterback, and I was at San Diego. But he was a gentleman in every way, good football player. And what made him a good football player? He didn't have the stats, Jordan, that very few. I mean, he ranked 77th, 160th, whatever, in some of the stats. But stats weren't his forte. It was winning football games, coming up, playing big in the biggest games. And that he did well. Going back, to when he was a youngster, he's from Montgomery, Alabama, right up the road. Played at Sidley Lanier High School in Montgomery. Was a very good high school football player and went on to Alabama. Unfortunately, he went to Alabama when it was probably the darkest era. Was the darkest era in Alabama football history. Ears Whitworth was there as the head coach, and I think his senior year, they didn't win a ball game. Maybe didn't even tie a ball game. But he was drafted in the 17th round back then, to Green Bay. Went to Green Bay and finished his career, his whole career playing and coaching with the Packers. He's an institution in Green Bay, Wisconsin. But when he went there, he was second, third team. Really never got to play after the first 2 or 3 years. Lombardi came in, and Lombardi saw something in him that he did not see in the other quarterbacks, and he established him as the quarterback. And I think it's a true story because I asked Jim Ringo, who was a famous player on that squad, about him correcting Lombardi on how he was treated. And he said that's a true story, that Lombardi really gained a lot of respect for him because he confronted Lombardi on asking him to be a leader as a quarterback, and yet yelling profanities at him in front of the other players. He said, I deserve a chewing out just like anybody else, but if we could, let's do it in the privacy of an office, and I'll take whatever chew out I get. But I can't go out there and be a leader with these players and be belittled by you as much as you're doing. And Lombardi respected that and never did it again. But he became a great football player. I say great not because of the stats, but because of the big games that he won. And went 5 National Football League championships. He had 5 of them, and they were tough to come by. Now, he played the first 2 Super Bowls and won those and was most valuable player. But they didn't have the Super Bowl back then. It was National Football League, and then 1960 he went up there in 56. 1960 came the AFL, and then it wasn't until 66 that they agreed to play the Super Bowl. So anyway, interesting history on Bart Starr. There's a lot more there than people realize. But what a wonderful guy. And he did a lot for his players. He did a lot for his peers. And he did a lot for his coaches or anybody else that he was affiliated with. So, yeah, it was a heck of a loss. Really was. Great guy.
Oh, you are absolutely right, Coach, and it's incredible to hear those stories of Bart Starr with Vince Lombardi. So we send our thoughts and prayers and condolences out to his family at this tough time. We also do, before we dive into the other headlines going on in the world of football right now, we do want to say thank you to the men and women of the United States military who have given the ultimate sacrifice for us to be able to sit in here and do what we do, and just anybody, really, any of our listeners or just anybody in this country, you have today off. A lot of people see this as a day off of work. You have today off because it's a day to remember the sacrifice they made so you can actually do that job that you're allowed to do. Like, case in point for us, we get to sit behind microphones and talk about football for a couple of hours or so a day. So that's, thank you again to all the men and women who have gave the ultimate sacrifice, and the men and women who continue to serve or have served in the United States military on this Memorial Day.
Oh, you are so right, Jordan, and that's what it's all about.
Right.
I guarantee you that is so far in first place. Everything else is distantly in second place.
Absolutely. All right, Coach, let's move on now to the New York Jets. They've been a hotbed of conversation the past couple of weeks, especially with everything going on with the GM position. Coach, it's I think saying it's been a bumpy few weeks is putting it mildly for the Jets right now. This is a team that they're in a spot that we've talked about it before. It's a spot that possibly is going to better them in the future because they've got their GM out. Now they can get somebody in that's better suited to help build that program and build that organization up and get good quality players in there and can be a GM in the right way. And we've discussed what a GM does and what a GM is here on the show before as well. But, Coach, you take a look at this right now. The New York Jets are planning on interviewing several different people, and this does include Joe Douglas from Philadelphia, Champ Kelly from Chicago, George Patton from Minnesota, and, of course, Scott Fitterer from Seattle. So they are all going to be interviewing those guys as part of their process to find their new GM. Coach, we've talked about it before on the show. Adam Gase, the head coach, maybe he should just stay the GM for the New York Jets. But, Coach, right now the Jets, despite it being a move that might help them in the long run, they seem to be a little off the track right now. What do they need to do to get things back on track there in New York?
Well, everybody's going to have a little different idea, and certainly the most popular is going to be bringing in these so-called general managers.
Right.
Or people that have applied for the job or have been in quasi-general manager relationships. Now, if I were Adam Gase, what I would want to do is do away with the title. I would remain the head coach in all football operations, all football decisions, but I would want somebody that had an outstanding, I would want two people to fill that position, an outstanding ability to scout and garner personnel. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that means with the other people, other scouts that we have out there, and assimilating all that information and doing a great job on getting players and having them ready when we need them. Okay, and the other person that I'd want is someone who had a financial background, who could handle the cap situation. Also, any other financial requirements that the owner may have. Now, they need to separate entirely business operations from football operations. The financial responsibilities that this person, yet named person, would have would be as they affect the football team. And he would do that in conjunction with the coach, because there may be, who's to say, that a guy that's never played the game, never coached the game, never been around it, and he's going to tell you, let's say one of your better players is up for a contract renewal. And he's going to hardline the guy when you know the guy's worth more than that. As a coach, you know that. And you also know he could go somewhere else and get paid. Or, flip side of that, you got somebody that you really could do without, that he overpays. Because he doesn't know. He can't evaluate. He cannot give you the exact qualification that a football player would have to get that money. Can't do it. So what I would do, and I'm just saying what I would do, I would surround myself with good people there, and people that you're going to need to call on. And you keep them in close touch with everything that you're doing. And it's not like you're begging for complete autonomy. I'm not saying that, but you put a good organization together, and this is what Belichick has done at New England.
Right. Yeah.
Who's the general manager of the New England Patriots?
Essentially, it's Bill Belichick. Yeah.
There's not a general manager either.
Right. Yeah.
Right. There's no. Yeah, you're right. It's him, But he's not. He calls somebody else this or that, and then their personnel or their financial or their whatever, he puts people in different slots, and that's the way I would see that would be best to do it. You cannot bring Adam Case in there and then bring a guy in who expects to come in and name coaches and draft have the autonomy of drafting players and all that. That doesn't work. It just it won't work. So anyway, that's my opinion.
And, Coach, that is actually a really good point, and I think a lot of our fans here that are our listeners and big football fans that, are really kind of in deep with the game of football and are watching the pro days that take place at these universities, you see a lot of scouts from different teams inside the NFL, but you always, especially at the major Power 5 conference schools, you always see one head coach from the NFL there, and it's always Bill Belichick. He's there to see the talent himself, Coach. So that plays in to the point that you were just making that, having a guy like what Bill Belichick does with New England. He's the guy that he pays attention to the players. He pays attention to what happens as far as football goes. And, Coach, I think not only is that a direction that the New York Jets should go, I agree with you on that. I think that's a direction that maybe the NFL should go in altogether, that's what every team should be doing. Because, if every team is along the same guidelines, and you're going to have different people with different egos, so it's going to be tough to get everybody on board with that, obviously. But, Coach, I think that in the long run, that would make the NFL a lot better than what it actually is. And it's not exactly a bad product right now.
Well, I would agree with you, except for the fact that you have varying degrees of expertise with coaches, okay? There are some that do not want to have any responsibility other than going to the meeting room every day, the practice field, and coaching on the field. I had a coach one time, a true story. I had a coach, a well-known guy, a very well-known player, all-pro player at one time, but who said that he wished that all he had to do was go to meetings and practice and never had to participate in a game because there was too much pressure in a game time situation, and it would be much easier on him if he didn't have to go through the game situation.
Right.
Just have a lot of meetings and practice. For what? And so my point here is it varies so much with from coach to coach. So I think there are two or three things that would. I like what you said, but there are two or three things that would quell that. One would be the protocol in the National Football League is so established now.
Right. Yeah.
And these owners think there's only one way to go, and that's general manager, head coach, blah blah blah, with the exception of the brightest one, Kraft, at New England. There have been a couple of others in the past, but so that's number one. Number two would be the fact that there are a lot of coaches, as I said, that would not have the aptitude, one, for doing all that, for handling more than just football. Because that being the case, you gotta be able to organize and handle a little more than just the X's and O's. And then thirdly would be the ability to get some people that would come in and under the present system not try to be something that you haven't given them authority to be. So I see those three things as being problems there, even though I think if I set up a football team, that's exactly the way I'd want to set it up, the way we just talked about.
All right, Coach, before we head to break here, we've got some more sad news from this past weekend, this involving college football, as Auburn play-by-play, the voice of the Auburn Tigers, Rod Bramlett, and his wife, unfortunately, passing away in a car accident on Saturday night. They were hit by another vehicle, and both were life-flighted or medical evac to a local area hospital there in Auburn, both unfortunately dying of different types of injuries. Rod sustained a head injury, his wife an internal injury, and they are both passed away. So, Coach, again, just some sad news for the Auburn Tiger family.
Well, it is sad news for us. I mean, my gosh, for everybody. What a great job he did there. And what a great feeling he had for the Auburn program and they for him. So it is a very, very sad day.
Absolutely, Coach. And in honor and tribute of him, we are now going to play what is arguably one of his most notable calls and most known calls. That is the kick six from the Iron Bowl from just a few years ago. So we are going to actually play that out as a tribute to him going out to break. So we'll be right back. Here's Rod Bramlett with the call of the kick six from just a few years ago right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
So I guess if this thing comes up short, he can field it and run it out. All right, here we go. 56-yarder. Does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it out to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Wings are now on Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings?
Wings. Bigger bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings, still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.
Tower, this is Alpha Squad. Something smells mighty good up here. Who's hungry? Over.
Beef's 2 for $20. Pick a starter and 2 entrees. Like Beef's new chicken tender Parmesan skillet, still just $20.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
If you're a small business owner, there's no better place to find the impact hire to help your business than LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs takes the time to learn more about who you're looking for and then recommends qualified candidates from their community of engaged and career-minded people, candidates who you likely won't be able to reach anywhere else. The truth is, over 70% of the U.S. workforce is on LinkedIn, and posting your job on LinkedIn gives you the best chance of finding and starting a conversation with your next star recruit. It's no surprise a new hire is made every 8 seconds using LinkedIn. So build your winning team by posting a job on LinkedIn and visit linkedin.com/sports to get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports for $50 off your first job post. LinkedIn.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every $1 spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
194.5. Also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WICT and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. You want to be a part of the show, call into our studio line, 972-1945. Again, that's 972-1945. I'm Jordan Glass. Joined alongside me, as always, Coach K. And as we get back in today's show, we've got a little bit of an interesting topic to talk about here, a topic that's it's been talked over several times before, and it's the possibility of players and college athletes being paid for playing, or being paid for their likeness of their image, or things like that that could be used for video games. Coach, this conversation is getting stirred back up because obviously the college football video game that had been popular for so long had been taken away, hasn't been on the market, hasn't been made for the past few years. They are starting to talk about maybe EA Sports recreating and redoing that video game and starting to re-release the video game. So again, that got the conversation of, should the players that are appearing in the video game be paid for their likeness or not? Should they be paid to play in college at the college level? Coach, I have my feelings on this, and my feelings have always been that if you're paying players at the different level, you're going to have football players making more than baseball players. You're going to have baseball players making more than softball players. Basketball players are going to be making more than the baseball and softball players. Then you're going to have the men's basketball players making more than the women's basketball players. And, Coach, it's just going to lead to all kinds of different other messes that you could have. So while I completely understand where somebody would be coming from as wanting to pay the players, it just opens up too many doors for other negative things that can be brought onto college athletics.
Well, you're right. That is the big picture. Now, they can say, well, we're only going to do it in revenue-producing sports. But it's only a matter of time before, if you start doing that, where you're going to have basketball and baseball and, like you say, women's sports and everything else involved in being paid. Let me say right off the bat that for colleges to start paying, let's call it a stipend, a larger stipend to players is ridiculous now, and they're talking about players are talking about quite a bit of money here. Number one, people don't understand. Most colleges, hear me, cannot do it, cannot afford to do it, because most colleges, believe it or not, are operating in the red, not the black. It would shock you. In fact, I'll have an administrator. In fact, he works with administrators all over the country. I'll have him on the show one day, and he can tell you what the average income is per school and how many schools are making a little money, are making a lot of money, and those that are making no money, losing money. In fact, it's hard to believe. Sometimes going to a bowl game costs a school a lot of money.
Wow.
Now, so number one, that they can't afford to do it. If you do it for Alabama and for Florida and for Georgia and whomever, you got to do it for Vanderbilt. You've got to do it for Memphis State. You've got to do it for all Central Florida. You got to do it for all the other schools. Okay, you can't just do it for one school. If you did that for just the larger schools that can afford it, where do you think the players are going to go? The other schools wouldn't have a chance at all. So that's number one. Number two, once you start that, how are you going to, let's just say that they're going to pay players. The minute they say that, you're going to have agents get involved. And you're an agent now, and you've got a running back and a quarterback. And I'm an agent, and I've got an offensive lineman and a defensive back. And what would you demand for your players, and what could I demand for my players? And now we're back. We're into professional sports, basically, is what we've taken the amateurism out of college football.
Right.
All right. And they're just, as far as being paid for their likeness, you know, there's some sentiment for players being able to receive some money for that. But here's the deal. Here's the problem with that. Your guys, they've got their picture in magazines. They've got their picture on the EA Sports game. They've got they get paid for autographs. My guys don't get anything.
Right.
They can't go to the movies when your guys can. They can't drive a car when your guys can. What does that say about your football team? You talk about haves and have-nots. Now you're going to create some real dissension. These things are real. They're not just pie in the sky. I mean, they're real, and you got to think about all of it. I don't know how you would do it other than to say that if players, even if you took a team, if you went this far, and you took all the teams, and you said, all right, Alabama's got 10 players that are going to be involved in some form of monetary. They're going to be paid for doing something, whether it be, I don't care, modeling or EA Sports or whatever it is. And then you got 70 that aren't going to be paid for anything. Now, if you took all the money and took it into the university athletic department, said we're going to take that money and divide it up with everybody, that might be a way to do it. But still you run into the problem where that happens at Alabama. But what about Boise State, where they don't get paid, none of their players get paid for anything? Or you go to Vanderbilt, or you go to Tennessee, or you go to Arkansas, and their players don't get anything, and they're competing for the same players as Alabama. And Alabama can say, hey, we take in X number of dollars into this fund, and we divvy that up. It's still not equitable. It's still, in my opinion, not doable. So if somebody can come up with a way that is equitable and does not plunge college football into professionalism, I'd be more than willing to listen to it. But as it stands right now, I just think it's a black hole.
No, Coach, and you mentioned a great point there where you were talking about the haves and the have-nots. And, look, here's the thing about these games, especially with EA Sports. And, look, I was a big fan, and I still hope that one day they can kind of find a way to bring back the NCAA football game, because it gave you an opportunity. Not only did it give you an opportunity, but, for guys like me that played football but were never going to play at a Florida or an Alabama, it gave you an opportunity. You could actually, they had something called a Heisman mode where you could create yourself in the game and you could play as a player at whatever school you wanted to, and they would recruit you. You could pick whichever school you wanted to play in. So it kind of gave you that fun opportunity as well. So it was fun playing the games, and I hope that one day they can bring the games back. But, Coach, you bring up a great point, because they do have team schedules. You can play a season mode on there and play a Florida schedule that includes a game against a team like a Nicholls State. And Nicholls State cannot afford to pay for the likeness of their players. They can't afford to pay like a Florida or an Alabama would. And from what you were saying, there's some schools maybe at that level of a Florida and Alabama that possibly couldn't even afford to pay their players as well.
Well, that's true. I mean, there's so few. I want to get the number. I don't want to shock anybody right now. But the number of schools that are in the black are so few, it would stagger you. It really would. Most of them are negative cash flow. With just, where do you keep going and going and going, and pretty soon you're going to have to start eliminating some things, and that's sad, but it's true. The more money football makes, the bigger share women's athletics want of it. They want to add another program. They want women's hockey or something.
Lacrosse, yeah.
Lacrosse, and it's never ending.
Wow. All right, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take another time out. When we come back, we'll have more Talk Football with Coach K coming up next right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Wings are now on Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings?
Wings. Bigger bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings, still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.
Tower, this is Alpha Squad. Something smells mighty good up here. Who's hungry? Over.
Beef's 2 for $20. Pick a starter and 2 entrees. Like Beef's new chicken tender Parmesan skillet, still just $20.
You could win free fuel for a year in the Shell Great Gas giveaway. Fuel Rewards members are automatically entered every time they purchase 8 gallons or more. And if you choose new Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline, you get 4 entries. So, it's time to fill up for a chance to win. Not a member? To join, download the app or go to fuelrewards.com/win. No purchase necessary. Motion ends 9/1/19. See official rules at fuelrewards.com/win for how to enter by mail and all details.
Cuando eres un pro, tu reputación se construye y mantiene a través del tiempo, como el pegamento Loctite PL Premium Max que está en The Home Depot. Es el más poderoso en todo el mercado. Durable, hace un muy buen trabajo y como buen pegamento pro se mantiene a través del tiempo. Ahora, llévate 12 o más a precio mayorista por solo $7.97 cada uno. Loctite PL Premium Max. Más resistencia, durabilidad y un trabajo bien hecho por menos. En The Home Depot. Haz más, ahorrando. Requiere un mínimo de compra solo en los Estados Unidos.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome back into Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. And if you want to be a part of today's show, you can always call us on our studio line at 972-1945, 972-1945. And if you're an Arkansas Razorback fan, you may be wanting to get your dialing fingers ready because we are getting ready to go over Arkansas's 2019 schedule. You know what we've been doing here on Talk Football. We've been kind of going over these teams, both college and pro, looking at their schedule for the upcoming season and really kind of breaking it down, not from an X's and O's perspective per se, but maybe looking at it from a coach perspective in the sense of, okay, we're coming out of this game into an off week and then we go on the road. And just kind of taking those things into account and seeing how it affects them on the year. So, Coach, we will continue this, and we'll get it going here with Week 1 as Arkansas is set to take on Portland State Vikings. Coach, even if the Razorbacks are slightly improved from what they were a year ago, they were bad a year ago, but if they're slightly improved, this game against Portland State should be a game that they can get done at home in Fayetteville.
Yeah, if they don't, Jordan, we could have a major shake-up at Arkansas right there in the first or second week of the season. No, seriously, they're going to have to. This is not just a must-win. I mean, this is a bombshell win. Seriously, it's that big a game for them. I'm a little familiar with the Arkansas situation out there, and let me say this: they will not consider a loss to Portland State as being just another game. It's going to be big. So they got to win it, and I think they will.
All right, Coach, Week 2, they head on the road, Vaught Hemingway Stadium. They get SEC play underway. They'll be taking on the Ole Miss Rebels.
You know, I'm not sure about either team. I think give a home field advantage on some of these that are coin flips, and let's just give. By the way, is that a night game or
that still has been determined? Still has not been determined.
Okay. Let's give Ole Miss a win in that Arkansas game there, just on home field advantage.
All right, Coach. Coming up next day, we'll get back to Fayetteville. It's a game that you look at, you say, okay, it's an SEC team versus a Colorado State team. It's a game that maybe the SEC should come out on top just based off of talent. But, Coach, this is a tough Colorado State team that's going to be coming into Fayetteville on September 14th.
Yeah, better than people would think. And that therein may lie the problem. Better than people may think, because what they think in Arkansas is probably they think the worst of Colorado State. So that being the case, I think this is another game that they're going to have to win. I just don't see it in Fayetteville. Colorado State coming in, they can't lose that ball game. I think they'll win it.
All right, Coach, so they'll be 2-1 on the year as they head into Week 4, taking on San Jose State Spartans. Again, Coach, this is at DWR Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville. Once again, Coach, a team that you look at SEC versus this team, the SEC should win it just based off of the matchups alone. But again, Coach, we're not quite sure what we're going to see from the Razorbacks. So San Jose State on September 21st, how do you see it playing out?
They better be careful with San Jose State. I'm telling you, this could be an upset right here. And it's at Arkansas. And that's not going to sit well with them either. But I'm going to give Arkansas a win here. Okay. And I think, let's back up just a minute and look at what we've already been over on the schedule. Now, if you don't think those coaches at Arkansas are looking at this schedule and know what they have to get done in those first 4 ball games, because they've got an SEC schedule after that, an SEC West schedule at that. So they know what they've got to do in those first 4, and I would think they'll do everything they can to make sure that they have the best possible environment for those ball games. Go ahead. I think they win that one.
All right, Coach. So that puts them at 3-1 heading into their battle in Arlington at AT&T Stadium. Jerry World, the Arkansas alum, and Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to be there in attendance, you better believe it. September 28th, a 3-1 Arkansas team. I think that probably would surprise some people, even with the schedule that they have to start off the year, taking on a Texas A&M team.
Yeah, well, good times always come to an end.
Right.
And Jerry World is a place where that's going to happen, I'm afraid. I think Arkansas will play them well because they'll have a big contingent there, as well as Texas A&M will. But it'll be a well-attended ball game, believe me. Big game there in Texas, but they're not going to beat Texas A&M, I don't think.
All right, Coach, how about we move now? They'll have an off week on October 5th before heading to Kroger Field in Lexington to take on the Kentucky Wildcats.
I think Kentucky has enough going for them, and this is at Kentucky. Even though Arkansas is coming off a bye week, which is going to help them here, it should be a heck of a ball game. But I just think Kentucky at home will win this football game against Arkansas. Now, you can bet Kentucky's got this game circled as well because they know it's a game they need to win.
All right, Coach, how about we move now to the next game on the schedule? The Auburn Tigers hitting the road. They'll head to Fayetteville to DWR Razorback Stadium. Coach, Arkansas-Auburn on October 19th.
Oh, my. I'll tell you, beware. The Tiger better beware here because Arkansas is going to be fighting for their life out there. And Auburn may have some problems there that they've got to overcome, a loss of confidence and so on. I'm going to give Arkansas an upset there at home against the Auburn Tigers.
All right, Coach. So Arkansas already doubled their win total from a year ago at this point, 4-3 on the year. They had to play Auburn in Fayetteville. Now, Coach, they play the other school in Alabama. They head on the road to Bryant-Denny to take on the Crimson Tide.
Well, I think we all know how that should turn out, and it should turn out with, of course, Auburn Alabama having a good opportunity to play a lot of people in that ball game.
All right, Coach, they'll head back home to Fayetteville for the next couple of weeks as they'll welcome in Mississippi State to start off this 2-week stretch at home for them. And, Coach, can the Razorbacks get it done against the Bulldogs?
They should be able to. I don't have any confidence, to be honest with you, in that Mississippi State staff. I think they had a chance to be better last year than they were, and I don't know what that should tell us about this year. But chances are that let's say, hey, Arkansas has them at home. Let's say Arkansas gets a big win there.
All right, Coach, and it is a big win indeed, especially with this next game coming up at DWR Razorback Stadium. Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers are coming in on November 9th.
Yeah, and by now I think Arkansas is looking up. They've got some momentum. They've been able to play some people that had very little, if any, experience before. Their quarterback is meshed in with their offense. They should win that at home, yeah.
All right, Coach, and they'll have a week off before they head to Baton Rouge to take on the LSU Tigers.
Well, that's a little tough. At least having a week off there is going to help them. They'll be on a little roll, feeling pretty good about themselves, but that's not going to be enough to beat LSU at Tiger Stadium.
All right, Coach, and finally they'll end the year here taking on the Missouri Tigers. This will be in Little Rock at War Memorial Stadium.
Well, they still have that's politically governed out there. They still have to play at least one game. They used to have to play 3 or 4 out there, and they only played 1 or 2 in Fayetteville. But they still have to play one in Little Rock. It's almost like a road game. It's a shame they have to because they can't even have all the recruits there that they normally could have at home. I think they beat Missouri. I really do. I think they got a little bit going for them, and they're playing at the Capitol, so they win it.
All right, Coach, and you take a look at what they were able to do a season ago there inside the SEC, 2-10 in 2018, Coach. If this season plays out the way we talk about it right here on Talk Football, 7-5 for the Arkansas Razorbacks in 2019, Coach. That's not only an improvement, but that's a giant step forward for this program.
Yeah, it is. But if you look at their schedule, that's why it's good to go over the schedule here. Just to say that if we sat here and said, I think Arkansas is going to go, let's pick a number, 7-5. It wouldn't mean anything. But if you look at their schedule and who they're playing and where they're playing, it makes a little sense because they should win. They may win all of those first 4 ball games there. They're going to be they're in the ballpark with Ole Miss. It's just that it's on the road, and they're better than the other teams. So they could easily be 4-0 going into an off week there. Now there's some teams who are not going, but they're going to upset somebody because they'll have a lot of momentum going. They'll be able to throw the football around, which means they don't have to bump heads with these bigger, stronger, deeper, more talented football teams. They can throw the ball, and so that means that they're going to have a chance against the Auburns, especially against the Auburns. Maybe occasionally at Texas A&M. I don't think they're going to stand a chance against Alabama or LSU, but it gives them a chance for an upset like that. And I think they are now on par or a little better, especially playing at home against Missouri. Gives them a win there against an SEC school. So when you look at the schedule, it's a little more realistic. Most of the teams on there, though, Western Kentucky, heck, there's some teams on there they should beat this year. So give it to them and let's see what happens.
You're absolutely right, Coach, and you even look at those games on the road against Ole Miss and on the road against Kentucky. Coach, while you probably expect Ole Miss and Kentucky to be the favorite in that game, still it's probably going to be a close game that, a turnover goes one way, and you never know. Arkansas could be able to pull off a win there. That would give them that extra win on the year from what we've talked about here, and could even make them a little bit better. And if they were able to get a big win early on, especially if they're able to go week 2 on the road to Ole Miss and come out with a win, that gives them a big momentum shove heading into the rest of the season.
Oh, there's no question about it. No question at all. And you're right about those games with Ole Miss and Kentucky, a good example of games that they could possibly win.
All right, Coach. Well, we're going to take our final time out of the show. When we come back, we'll be continuing to talk football here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
Wings are now on Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings?
Wings. Bigger bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings, still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.
Tower, this is Alpha Squad. Something smells mighty good up here. Who's hungry? Over.
Beef's 2 for $20. Pick a starter and 2 entrees. Like Beef's new chicken tender Parmesan skillet, still just $20.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every dollar spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WICT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome back into Talk Football with Coach K on this Monday, Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day, and thank you so much to our men and women of the United States military who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms, and also thank you to the men and women who are currently still serving and also have served and are now retired veterans for the United States military as well. Thank you just across the board. Anybody that's been a part of the United States military, we thank you so much for your service on this Memorial Day. Coach, let's get back into it as we wrap up today's show. We got about 10 minutes left. That gives us enough time to go over another team's schedule. So, Coach, we'll change things up. We'll go from the SEC to the ACC. Take a look at the Miami Hurricanes. And, Coach, they're going to get it started 7 o'clock Eastern time, so 6 o'clock local time here in Pensacola on ESPN Saturday, August 24th. It's the 150th celebration of college football from Camping World Stadium. Miami will be taking on the Florida Gators.
Yeah, that's going to be a renewal of an old rivalry. I wish they still had it, to be honest with you. But it's going to be hot, to say the least. You got to give the Gators the edge here.
All right, Coach, so we'll start them off at 0-1 on the year. They'll head into a bye week before they then head to Chapel Hill to take on Mac Brown and the North Carolina Tar Heels. Coach, of course, you take a look at it. Michael Carter, running back from Navarre High School here in the area, is actually a part and expected to be a big part of this North Carolina team. As a matter of fact, I believe he was named one of the preseason All-ACC team members from this North Carolina team a couple of weeks ago. So, Coach, this is another tough game for Miami to start off the year.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do. At home and Mac Brown, I'm going to give Mac Brown at home the edge here, and he's got a lot of time to get ready for Miami, and I think it's going to show.
All right, Coach, so a tough start here from Manny Diaz in his first year as the head coach at Miami. An 0-2 start, but he will head home to Miami to take on Bethune-Cookman. Coach, this is a game that should get Miami back on track.
Yeah, if it doesn't, Marty Diaz is going to be gone. But, yeah, it should be a big win. This is one of those that probably shouldn't be played, but it is, and Miami gets a win here.
All right, Coach, and Jim McElwain and the Central Michigan Chippewas will then head on September 21st to South Beach to take on the Miami Hurricanes.
Miami beware here, but I gotta think Miami at home. They've had a chance to play now and get a little under their belt. They should win it.
All right, Coach, and they'll head into their second of third off weeks here right after that game against Central Michigan. Again, remember, fans, Florida and Miami will have 3 off weeks where everybody else has 2 because they'll actually get the season started a week earlier before everybody else, so it kind of throws off their schedule by a week. So they'll have 3 off weeks. So they'll have their second one coming up September 28th before they get their second ACC game in at home this time against the Virginia Tech Hokies.
That's going to be a tougher. Virginia Tech's going to be better this year than they were last year. Gosh, I'd have to think that's a coin flip right now. Let's give Miami the win at home field, but only on home field because VPI could win that ball game.
All right, Coach. So they have bounced back from their 0-2 start. They'll now host Virginia. So they'll go from Virginia Tech to Virginia on October 11th.
The Virginia Cavaliers, I think, will win that ball game. They're going to be a good football team this year. Virginia, everybody should look out for them. And I don't care where they're playing, Miami or Charlottesville. Virginia should win that game.
All right, Coach. How about Jeff Collins, his first year as the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets head coach? They're heading to South Beach to take on Miami.
Yeah, that could be a disaster for Georgia Tech this year. A new coaching staff changing from what they've been doing for years and have recruited for years, the wishbone. Going to be interesting to see how they change up what they decide to do. But that's going to be tough. And at Miami, I think you got to give Miami the edge there.
All right, Coach. That puts them at 4-3 on the year as they head on the road to Pittsburgh Heinz Field, where they'll take on the Pitt Panthers.
Pittsburgh should be a little better this year. At home, I got to give Pitt the edge here against Miami.
All right, so they're 4-4 through the first 8 weeks of the season, Coach. Now they head to Tallahassee to take on a Florida State team that, honestly and truthfully, Willie Taggart better hope they're much improved by this point in the season than they were at this point a year ago. If not, could be the start of some rumblings here if Miami goes into Tallahassee and comes out with a win.
Well, I'll tell you, you're right. And both teams are really, really in need of a big win here, meaning a traditional win like this. But I think Miami goes into Tallahassee, and I don't think Florida State can recoup enough to do that. They've got some other problems along the way, depending on how that quarterback. Now, remember this: they've got a quarterback transferring in from Wisconsin, and they got Blackman. So I don't know who's going to be the quarterback, and we don't know how well this football team will have adapted. So, at any rate, give Miami the win.
All right, Coach. They'll come out of that rivalry win on the road back home on November 9th. They'll welcome in the Louisville Cardinals.
I think I'm not sure Louisville's a down program right now. The change in coaches, that's going to be tough for them. I think they go into Miami, and Miami wins that ball game.
All right, Coach, that moves them to 6-4 on the year. They'll have their third and final off week, November 16th, before heading down to Marlin Park there in Miami. So it's not going to be at Hard Rock. It's still going to be in Miami, but they're going to head to Marlin Park and take on the Florida International Panthers. So FIU and Miami on November 23rd.
Yeah, I tell you, I kind of hate to see this. It's almost like Miami's losing the steam that they once got. I mean, they're playing Bethune-Cookman in Florida International, and I don't know. It's just and they're not playing it. And they're playing in the baseball stadium. You know what does that tell you about a football team? It tells you that it may be a football team without a home right now. They don't want to play in the bigger stadium because there probably would not be enough people to sell peanuts to in a bigger stadium. It won't be well attended. You can bet on that. But they should beat. Even though, listen, be careful. Be careful about what you ask for because they've got a good coaching staff there at Florida International. So that could happen. I guess you got to give Miami the edge there.
All right, Coach, and then Miami will round out the year on the road, Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham, North Carolina, taking on David Cutcliffe and the Duke Blue Devils.
You know, this is interesting to me. Now, I think Duke is going to be down this year. I think I don't think they're going to have as many wins as they did last year because the quarterback changed, losing the quarterback. But home field and with Cutcliffe and the way they've pulled games out in the past, I'm going to give Duke the win at home, the last game of the year. They may play this. This may be played like a bowl game for them.
7-5 season for the Miami Hurricanes in the year one with Manny Diaz. Coach, you got to respect that. I mean, you look at it, this season for the Hurricanes could go completely different, could go the flip side of what we see here. But 7-5, I think, for Manny Diaz, year one, that's a solid start for him as the head coach.
I think it probably is. Now he could win another game or two in there. You know, easily win that Duke game. There may be another game or two in there that he could end up winning. They may do a lot better than we think, but that's a respectable year, first year, and they don't know who their quarterback's going to be for sure at this point. So another transfer situation.
Absolutely, Coach, and we do have some sad news. It's a tough time in the sports world. It seems like big names are just dropping left and right. Unfortunately, we did just get word that Bill Buckner has passed away, played 22 seasons in Major League Baseball. I know it's not football news, but still that is some breaking news here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. As again, we got word from ESPN a moment ago, Bill Buckner has passed away.
Yeah, I hate to hear that. My goodness, he will always be remembered, unfortunately, for the era there. Ball rolling through his legs. God bless him. Well, I hate to hear that. Yeah.
All right, well, that is going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Talk Football with Coach K. For Coach K, I'm Jordan Glass. You guys have a happy Memorial Day. Enjoy the day with friends and family, but please, please do not forget the reason why we are celebrating today. And be sure to, if you see somebody in the military, shake their hand, thank them for their service, and just let them know that we do appreciate the sacrifices they make.
This is Pensacola's home.